The budget deficit is awful. The big issues he's had to turn around, such as homelessness, aren't being turned around.
We have the highest housing costs, we have the highest utility costs, we have the highest unemployment, and we have the highest poverty. 1 out of every 5 Californians cannot afford their current utility rates right now.
We have the worst business climate in the country. We have amongst the highest taxes, and to have that large an economy, that high taxes, and not be able to produce outcomes, that's an embarrassment.
You could build 4 affordable apartments in Colorado for every 1 you built in California.
So when these refineries close, the 2 that are scheduled to close by 2026, how many people lose their jobs?
It's dramatic.
Half Los Angeles burned down. He was politically done, and he decided a Hail Mary, he's going to do something so provocative. He's going to redistrict.
The current business climate in California is uncertainty. We've lost our manufacturing jobs, almost 40,000. But what California has done the most is grow government jobs.
Yes.
What have we gotten for our money with those government jobs?
For the first time in history, the projection of San Diego population is to flatten, if not start to come down. It's just really hard for people to picture raising a family here.
And while California ranks near the bottom of almost every category that matters, and our state is literally on fire, our politicians have decided to grab more power for themselves.
We're doing this in reaction to a president of the United States that called Texas and said, find me 5 seats.
Gerrymandering is when politicians redraw voting maps to rig the rules of the game, like moving the goal in a sport so one team always wins. It takes power away from voters and makes elections less about ideas and more about manipulation.
It is a vehicle that is being used right now by the governor to dismantle the Independent Redistricting Commission because they didn't like it anyway.
The lines are the lines.
Madam Chair, but
so we are that.
when you consume something, don't you want to know who makes it? Don't voters deserve to know?
For a restaurant, I don't need to meet the chef.
That's all we have to know is no on 50. This is partisan politics. This is one-party rule. This is anti-American politics at its core.
I'm not sure that democracy fares well in a single-party system. At some level, democracy functions best when there's a tension that exists.
Newsom is just a thirsty influencer trying to hop, skip, and a jump his way into the presidential nomination for the Democrats. Do citizens get to choose their representatives, or do representatives get to choose teams and pick their voters? Right. It should be the former.
What they're trying to do is take the power away from the voters, and they're trying to give the power on redistricting back to the politicians.
It's wrong when Texas does it. It's wrong when Newsom does it. This is not a blue versus red issue. This is about protecting democracy.
I want us to terminate gerrymandering in 2/3 of all the congressional districts.
Arnold Schwarzenegger fought to create an independent redistricting system in 2010. Now, that reform is being dismantled in the dark.
Former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger called gerrymandering the cancer of politics.
In 2010, California voters got it right. They signed a petition, put a reform measure on the ballot that said, let's take the power out of the hands of the politician, let's put the power in the hands of citizens, an independent commission to draw the lines every 10 years. That transparency makes for a healthy democracy and it makes for better maps.
And it was not a partisan issue. We want this independent commission. We want our districts to be fair, and then let people fight for it.
If you actually go back and look at the numbers, the first effort was actually really close. It barely passed. And then a few years later, they said we should probably include congressional lines with this commission. And so that measure actually passed overwhelmingly. The opposition to it was a lot of members of Congress who really wanted to have those lines drawn internally in the legislature where they could control them.
It really was not clear in any of the hearings today. Both the state Senate and Assembly Elections Committees had a lengthy discussion.
And so what they now want to do is completely abolish and override the work that was done by the commission and redraw new maps in a way that makes vulnerable Republican seats and makes safer Democrat seats.
A reminder that this is happening as California already has an independent redistricting commission that is responsible for doing this work after the census.
When politicians choose their voters, voters lose their voice. Democracy only works when the competition is fair. Rigging the maps rigs the outcome.
I think it's a great way to explain it for average citizens in California. If you want active, engaged representation and a competition of ideas, you want competitive congressional districts. Otherwise, you've got an extension of uniparty rule.
I don't say Prop 50, I just say, Newsom's gerrymander. It's a huge waste of resources, that it's going to disenfranchise people, contrary to what the voters decided.
California has a law that was voted on by citizens to have an independent citizens districting commission, and that entire process was upended and bypassed to give advantages to people who are going to vote on putting it on the ballot. That's corruption.
California has 52 seats in the House of Representatives. 43 are Democrats and 9 are Republicans. If Prop 50 passes, Republican seats may be reduced to just 3. That means nearly half of Republican Californians, 43% of the state, would be reduced to less than 6% of representation.
They're silencing the voices of people that don't agree with the governor.
That isn't democracy, it's manipulation. Gerrymandering destroys competition, and when there's no competition, politicians stop listening to the people.
Other states, of course, have other systems, and I get it. But for us in California, the voters of our state created this commission to explicitly prohibit partisan gerrymandering.
2 wrongs don't make a right. Just because Republicans gerrymander in Texas doesn't mean Democrats should do it in California.
And I also want to say, this is not the same as Texas.
This is not saving democracy. This is destroying democracy. This is the definition of a rigged election.
It's politicians drawing their own districts, and it's their own self-interest. I think of the Central Valley district that Adam Gray's in, which now shoots straight up into Stockton to grab more Democrats in Stockton. I mean, there's just one thing after another. It's just gross.
What they're doing is they're taking rural communities, they're carving them up, and they're blending them in with urban centers.
Alturas is connected to the northern landing of the Golden Gate Bridge. Those communities have absolutely nothing in common. There's clearly an elephant's trunk there that comes down in from Placer County, and that's just kind of outrageous.
Where are the communities of interest there? This is all designed to be a power grab for Gavin Newsom.
Spending money that we don't have. We're dealing with a lot of different things. The small businesses are still hurting, our families, and we're going to spend $200 million on an election that doesn't need to happen.
Who drew the maps? So let me share the answers I was shared with. First, it was Assembly. Here we are. Put your hands in the air if you drew the maps. Didn't see one go in the air. So then I was told it was the legislature. Once again, here we are. I'm part of the legislature. I didn't draw these maps. Is this the type of transparency you're promising voters? You're not mocking me. You're mocking voters by not answering that question.
After this, just how could that?
You'll have to ask them.
Fresno County is carved up 6 ways. Lodi is carved up three ways. Stockton's carved in half. Hanford is carved in half. Bakersfield is carved up multiple ways.
This isn't about party lines. It's about drawing the line on corruption. If we let this happen here, it sets the blueprint for every other state. Once democracy is rigged in one place, it spreads everywhere.
And so even in Orange County, we have multiple cities that are now going to be cut into 3 different congressional districts. There's a street in Mission Viejo I was looking at yesterday where if you're on one side, the even side, you're in one congressional district. If you're on the odd side, you're in another. That's not how democracy is supposed to work.
To explain to citizens, if you approve this, here's why it's bad for you on the ground the next day.
The next day, you have given up your rights and your power as a citizen, and you've given it to government. Once they have that power, we are never going to get it back.
I think it's kind of refreshing in a way that they're just being honest. It's just like, yeah, Democrats want more power and they're to try to take it.
Democrats are spending $250 million of taxpayer money on a special election, not to solve California's problems, but to serve one man's presidential ambitions.
In a word, what's your reaction to Prop 50?
No.
Corrupt.
Ugly.
That's a power grab.
An existential crisis at this point.
Unconstitutional.
Why would we change this system? It's working in California. When we educate people to that fact, I think you're going to see a resounding no vote.
Democracy isn't supposed to be a joke, but these maps, these cartoon districts, make a mockery of the process.
2 bad behaviors don't make a right behavior.
This fight isn't about left or right. It's about right and wrong.